Solitude is not a sign of weakness, it's the path of champions. While most people fear being alone, the strong embrace it. The lone wolf walks alone, knowing that only those who dare to leave the crowd can achieve greatness. Are you ready to leave behind the fear of being different and start walking your own path? The question is, will you rise to the challenge or stay comfortable in the crowd? The biggest mistake you can make is trying to please everyone. The lone wolf knows that external validation is useless. Real strength comes from within, and those who follow the crowd will never lead it. Stop worrying about what others think. The ones who criticize you are just too afraid to walk alone. So ask yourself, are you living for their approval or for your own greatness? When you face isolation, it's easy to think you've failed. The mind can play tricks, making you believe you need others to succeed. But what if those moments of loneliness are exactly what you need to uncover your true power? Like the lone wolf, you find your greatest strength in adversity, when everything and everyone seems far away. This is where you separate from the average and rise above. The weight of others' expectations can break you if you let it. Many give up on their dreams just to fit in with society's expectations. But the lone wolf knows that real success is never found on the easy path. You must follow your instincts, even when the world around you says you're wrong. True courage is moving forward alone, despite the doubt. And that's where the true leaders are born. Societal pressure crushes even the strong, but not the resilient. The lone wolf uses pressure as fuel to thrive. Only those who stand up after being criticized, who keep going despite the judgmental eyes, reach a level of power most will never understand. Strength is not about having support. It's about rising despite the weight of the world, and that's what makes the lone wolf unstoppable. Climbing your own personal mountains is a solitary task. Every step toward success is a choice you make alone, a battle fought against your own doubts. The lone wolf doesn't wait for someone to help him climb. He trusts his own ability to conquer the rough terrain. Every challenge is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are stronger than the obstacles in front of you. So why wait for someone else? When people talk about resilience, they often don't understand it. Resilience isn't about bouncing back quickly. It's about enduring pain and still moving forward. The lone wolf embodies this quality. He doesn't break under pressure. He uses each adversity as a lesson, a chance to grow stronger and wiser. If you want to be strong, you must learn to embrace the struggle and push through it. You may feel alone in your struggles, but that's a sign you're on the right path. Solitude forces you to look inward and find strength you didn't even know you had. Like the lone wolf, each silent step forward is a victory, a testament to your ability to keep going when no one else believes in you. Only in the silence do we truly hear our own inner voice telling us, "You can." Finding strength within yourself is the hardest journey you'll ever take. It's not easy to break free from the need for external support, but the lone wolf doesn't fear this process. He knows that to be truly strong, he must trust his own instincts and decisions. External support can help, but the real power lies inside you, and only you can access it. Are you ready to find out how powerful you really are? Most people quit because the solo path is too hard, but it's exactly that difficulty that makes it special. The lone wolf sees the journey as an opportunity for growth, a road that only he can walk. It's in this solitude that he finds peace and clarity to keep going. When the rest of the world gives up, it's the lone wolf who keeps climbing, facing each challenge with relentless determination. Society teaches us to seek external validation, to measure success by others' opinions. But the lone wolf knows that success is internal. He doesn't need others to recognize his achievements. He knows the real victory lies in staying true to himself. Following your own path, even if it means walking alone, is where true success is found. Stop chasing their approval. Chase your own greatness. Criticism is inevitable when you choose to walk alone. There will always be those who doubt you, who try to bring you down. But that's where the lone wolf excels. He uses criticism as fuel, as a chance to prove that he's on the right path. While others talk, he acts. While others judge, he grows stronger. And in the end, it's the lone wolf who stands at the top, not the crowd. The lone journey is a powerful metaphor. Each of us faces battles that no one else can see, mountains that seem impossible to climb. But it's in those moments that we discover our true strength. Like the lone wolf, we find clarity, determination, and above all, resilience to keep moving forward, even when the mountain looks insurmountable. Will you embrace the journey, or let fear hold you back? Strength isn't found in comfort, it's built in discomfort. The lone wolf doesn't seek an easy life. He embraces challenges because he knows that's where growth happens. When you push through the discomfort of solitude, you unlock a level of resilience most people never experience. The path of least resistance might be tempting, but greatness is found where others fear to go. Success isn't about having others by your side. It's about standing firm in your own convictions, even when you're the only one who believes in you. The lone wolf thrives in the knowledge that true power comes from within. Most people are too afraid to stand alone, but those who do are the ones who lead. You don't need anyone's permission to be great. You just need to believe in yourself. The noise of the crowd can drown out your inner voice. The lone wolf understands this and seeks out solitude to find clarity. When you stop seeking approval from others, you begin to hear what truly matters, your own instincts, your own goals. Silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. Are you listening to your own voice, or are you letting the opinions of others dictate your path? When you walk alone, you're forced to rely on yourself, and that's a gift. Too many people depend on external validation, but the lone wolf knows that true strength lies in self-reliance. You don't need to wait for someone else to give you permission to chase your dreams. Your power is in your hands, and it's up to you to use it. Don't wait for the world to support you. Support yourself. The road to greatness is paved with rejection and criticism. Most people give up at the first sign of resistance, but not the lone wolf. He knows that every criticism is just another challenge to overcome, another reason to keep going. When you stop caring about what others think, you become unstoppable. Criticism is a sign that you're doing something right, because only the bold are criticized. Embracing solitude is the ultimate act of strength. It takes courage to stand alone, to trust that you have what it takes to succeed without the approval of others. But the lone wolf isn't looking for validation. He's too busy making progress. When you walk your own path, you realize that your power doesn't come from those around you. It comes from your determination to keep moving forward. Fear of failure holds most people back, but not the lone wolf. He understands that failure is just a step on the path to success. Walking alone means you will face setbacks, but every fall is an opportunity to rise stronger. While others avoid risk, the lone wolf faces it head-on, knowing that real growth comes from pushing beyond your limits. The question is, are you willing to fail forward? Loneliness is a tool, not a trap. The lone wolf uses his time in solitude to sharpen his skills, to reflect on his journey, and to prepare for the challenges ahead. While others see loneliness as something to be avoided, the wolf sees it as necessary. In silence, you grow. In isolation, you strengthen. Are you using your solitude to your advantage, or are you letting it defeat you? Walking your own path means rejecting the easy road. The lone wolf knows that nothing worth having comes without sacrifice. He chooses the hard path, the one that others are too afraid to walk, because he understands that true success is earned, not given. When you choose the path of the lone wolf, you choose to sacrifice comfort for greatness. But in the end, it's worth it. Your greatest ally is yourself. The lone wolf doesn't look for others to lift him up. He lifts himself. He knows that the only person he can truly rely on is himself. When you stop expecting others to carry you, you unlock a power that is unmatched. Stop waiting for help. The lone wolf forges his own path, trusting only in his own strength. That's the real key to success: self-reliance. True leaders walk alone. The crowd follows, but the lone wolf leads. He doesn't need a group to validate his decisions, because he knows where he's going. When you're confident in your vision, you don't need the approval of others. The lone wolf walks ahead, carving a path where there was none. And when the others finally catch up, they realize he was right all along. Will you lead or follow? The lone wolf doesn't fear being misunderstood. He expects it. Walking a different path means others won't always understand your decisions. But the lone wolf knows that being misunderstood is part of being a trailblazer. The majority will never understand the mindset of a leader until they see the results. Don't be afraid of what others think. Be afraid of not living up to your potential. It's easy to quit when the going gets tough, but the lone wolf pushes through. He doesn't let setbacks define him because he knows that every challenge is temporary. The moment you feel like giving up is the moment you need to dig deep and keep going. The lone wolf keeps moving, even when the path is hard, because he understands that the only way to reach the top is to keep climbing. Success isn't for the weak, it's for the relentless. The lone wolf isn't stronger than the rest because he's lucky. He's stronger because he refuses to quit. He doesn't stop when things get hard. He thrives in adversity. Walking alone means you must develop a resilience that others simply don't have. And that's what makes you stronger than the crowd. Keep going, no matter what stands in your way. Walking alone forces you to confront your fears. The lone wolf doesn't run from fear. He faces it head on. He understands that fear is a sign of growth, a signal that you're on the right path. While others avoid discomfort, the lone wolf embraces it, because he knows that facing your fears is the only way to overcome them. What fear is holding you back from walking your own path? The path of the lone wolf is lonely, but that's what makes it powerful. It's in the silence that you find clarity. When you're alone, there's nothing to distract you from your mission. The lone wolf uses solitude to focus, to plan, and to grow. While others seek comfort in company, the wolf finds strength in solitude. Are you willing to embrace the power that comes from walking alone? Most people are too afraid to take risks, but not the lone wolf. He knows that every risk is an opportunity for growth. Walking alone means you will face uncertainty, but it's in the unknown that you find your greatest opportunities. The lone wolf doesn't shy away from risk, he seeks it out, because he understands that without risk, there is no reward. Are you playing it safe, or are you ready to take the leap? Success doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who act. The lone wolf doesn't sit back and hope for things to happen. He takes control, moving forward even when others stand still. While the crowd waits for the perfect moment, the wolf creates his own opportunities. Waiting for the right time is just an excuse. The wolf knows that now is the only time. Are you ready to take action? The lone wolf doesn't need motivation from others. His drive comes from within. While others depend on external sources for inspiration, the wolf fuels his own fire. He knows what he wants and will do whatever it takes to get there. This is where true strength lies, in your ability to push forward, even when no one is watching, even when no one is cheering. Can you rely on your own drive? There will always be doubters, but the lone wolf ignores them. He knows that doubt is just a reflection of others' fears, not his own. Most people project their insecurities onto those who dare to do something different, but the wolf doesn't let doubt slow him down. He knows where he's headed, and no amount of skepticism will change that. Are you letting others' doubts hold you back from your own potential? The journey of the lone wolf is filled with challenges, but that's where the growth happens. Each obstacle is an opportunity to learn, to get stronger. The wolf doesn't fear adversity. He seeks it out, because he knows that the only way to grow is to be tested. If your path is too easy, you're not pushing hard enough. Will you rise to the challenge, or stay where it's comfortable? The lone wolf is relentless in his pursuit of success. He doesn't stop when he's tired. He stops when he's done. While others are content with mediocrity, the wolf knows that true success requires unwavering dedication. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter and longer than anyone else. That's what sets him apart. Are you willing to go further than everyone else to achieve your dreams? Most people fear failure, but the lone wolf sees it as a necessary step toward success. He knows that every failure brings him one step closer to his goal. While the crowd avoids risk, the wolf embraces it, understanding that failure is the greatest teacher. You either win or you learn. But either way, you're moving forward. Are you afraid to fail, or are you ready to learn from every misstep? The lone wolf knows that solitude breeds clarity. It's in the quiet moments away from the noise of the crowd that you discover what truly matters. The wolf uses his time alone to reflect, to plan, and to focus. When you stop seeking distractions, you can focus on what's really important. Are you making time for solitude, or are you avoiding the clarity that comes with it? Walking alone means you have to face your inner critic. The lone wolf doesn't shy away from his doubts. He confronts them head on. He knows that the only voice he truly needs to listen to is his own. And while that voice may sometimes be critical, it's also the one that pushes him to be better. The real battle isn't with the world, it's with yourself. Are you willing to silence your inner critic and keep going? The lone wolf doesn't wait for permission to succeed. He doesn't ask for approval or validation from others. He knows that success is something you claim, not something that's given. Waiting for others to recognize your potential is a waste of time. The wolf takes action, regardless of what others think. Are you waiting for someone to tell you it's your time, or are you ready to claim your success now? The crowd will always be louder, but the lone wolf's actions speak louder than words. While others talk about what they're going to do, the wolf is out there making it happen. He doesn't waste time bragging or seeking attention. His results do the talking for him. In the end, the loudest voices aren't the ones that matter. It's the ones that deliver results. Are you focused on making noise, or are you focused on making progress? Solitude teaches you that you're stronger than you think. The lone wolf knows that true strength isn't measured by how many people support you, but by how resilient you are when you stand alone. When you strip away the distractions and the noise, you're left with only yourself, and that's where real strength is found. Are you ready to discover just how strong you really are? The lone wolf understands that leadership isn't about being followed. It's about forging a new path. He doesn't need followers to validate his choices. True leaders are those who walk the road that no one else is brave enough to take. Leadership is about courage, not popularity. Are you willing to lead your own life, or are you waiting for someone else to lead it for you? Success requires sacrifice, and the lone wolf understands this better than anyone. He knows that to achieve greatness, he must be willing to give up comfort, distractions, and even relationships that hold him back. While others cling to what's familiar, the wolf sacrifices it all for the sake of his vision. What are you willing to sacrifice to reach your goals? The lone wolf isn't afraid of being different. He thrives on it. He knows that fitting in means limiting yourself. While the crowd plays it safe, the wolf takes risks that set him apart. Being different isn't a weakness, it's a strength. It's what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Are you ready to embrace what makes you different and use it as your greatest asset? In the end, the lone wolf reaches heights that the crowd can only dream of. Walking alone isn't easy, but it's where greatness is found. The wolf climbs higher because he's not weighed down by the opinions of others. While the crowd watches from below, the lone wolf stands at the top, knowing that his journey was worth every challenge. Will you be the one who stands at the top, or will you stay with the crowd?